That seasoned firewood you're about to buy, there's an 80% chance it's going to destroy your chimney. Most sellers are banking on you not knowing the one test that exposes their scam in under 3 seconds, and it costs you nothing. Let me hit you with something that'll make you mad. That firewood sitting in your driveway right now? Freshly cut green wood contains 60% water by weight. You're not buying firewood. You're buying expensive water that happens to have some tree attached to it. Here's what nobody tells you. Wet wood produces half the heat of properly dried wood. Half. Your fireplace is working overtime just boiling water instead of warming your living room. It's like paying for a full pizza and getting half of it soaked in a puddle. Not exactly the deal you signed up for, but wait, it gets worse. That hissing and sizzling sound when your logs burn. Most people think that's cozy fireplace ambiance. Nope, that's water boiling off, screaming at you that you bought garbage wood. Every hiss is money evaporating up your chimney. And the creosote buildup? Anything above 25% moisture creates this sticky, tar-like substance coating your chimney walls. Burns hot enough to catch fire. I've seen chimneys destroyed because someone trusted the wrong seller. Now here's the fix. A $30 moisture meter from any hardware store. Stick it in the wood, get a reading, takes 3 seconds. Properly seasoned firewood should read below 20% moisture. That's your magic number. Anything higher, walk away. Some sellers have gotten creative though. They'll spray water on wood to make it heavier since firewood is often sold by weight. More water, more weight, more money from your pocket. Oldest trick in the book. My neighbor fell for this twice before I showed him the meter trick. Makes sense now why 80% of seasoned firewood fails inspection, right? But moisture is only half the battle, because even perfectly dry wood can cost you a fortune if you're burning the wrong species. The difference between oak and pine? That's where the real math gets interesting. Oak versus pine. This is where sellers make their real money off people who don't know better. Here's the deal. A cord of oak throws out around 26 million BTUs. Pine, barely 16 million. Same stack size, same price at most places, 40% less heat. You're basically paying steakhouse prices for a fast food burger, but it goes deeper than just heat numbers. Dense hardwoods like hickory and oak burn for 3 hours per log. Pine gone in 45 minutes. So you're not just getting less heat, you're getting up every hour to feed your fireplace, like it's a hungry toddler at 3 in the morning. My uncle learned this one the hard way. Bought what he thought was a killer deal on mixed hardwood. Turned out to be mostly poplar with a few oak logs sprinkled on top for show. Burned through his entire winter supply by February. Had to buy more at peak prices. That deal cost him double. Now here's something most people get wrong. Softwood isn't useless. Pine and fir ignite fast. They're perfect kindling. I keep a small pile just for starting fires. Light the pine, get things roaring, then stack oak on top. Best of both worlds. And those fruit woods? Apple and cherry burn slower than regular softwoods and leave your house smelling like grandma's kitchen instead of a campfire gone wrong. Worth seeking out if you can find them cheap. The weight test works great here too. Green oak weighs around 4,000 pounds per cord. Pine hits maybe 2,500. That extra weight is density. Density equals heat. Simple physics even my neighbor's kid understands. Burning softwood exclusively means feeding your fire 40% more often. That adds up to real money over a season. But knowing your wood types only matters if you're not getting ripped off on quantity. And those measurement tricks, that's where things get genuinely shady. Spring is when smart buyers strike. Here's the deal most people miss. That same cord of oak selling for $350 in November, it goes for $240 in April. Same wood. Same seller. 30% cheaper because nobody's thinking about firewood when flowers are blooming. I started buying in March about 6 years ago. Changed everything. Not only do I save money, but the wood I buy has all summer to dry in my yard. By October, it's basically perfect. Zero effort on my part. The sun does all the work while I'm grilling burgers and complaining about my lawn. But timing gets even more specific than just spring versus fall. Watch the weather forecasts in late September. The moment meteorologists mention the first frost warning, prices jump like they're on a trampoline. I've seen cords go from $280 to $400 in 2 weeks flat. Panic buying is expensive buying. Late summer hits a sweet spot most folks ignore completely. Sellers have wood cut from spring that's been drying for months. Selection is still good. Prices haven't spiked yet. You're basically shopping at a store before the Christmas rush. Now here's a source almost nobody considers. Tree service companies. These guys spend spring hauling away storm damage. By May, they're drowning in wood they need gone. Some practically beg you to take it. I've gotten entire truckloads for the cost of a case of beer and a handshake. The worst possible time to buy? Mid-January during a cold snap. You're competing with every unprepared homeowner in a 50-mile radius. Sellers know this. They'll charge whatever they want because what's your alternative? Freezing? Timing your purchase right can save you hundreds every single year. But even perfectly timed purchases mean nothing if you're getting scammed on quantity. And those measurement tricks sellers pull? Some of them are borderline criminal. Let's talk about getting ripped off. A true cord measures exactly 128 cubic feet. Stack it 4 feet high, 4 feet deep, 8 feet long. That's the legal standard. Simple enough, right? Here's where sellers get creative. Face cord and Rick sound official. They're not. These terms have zero legal definition. A face cord might be 1/3 of a real cord, maybe half. Depends on who's selling and how much they think you don't know. I've seen face cords priced at 70% of a full cord's cost while delivering 30% of the wood. That's not a deal. That's theft with extra steps. State weights and measures departments have investigated this. About 25% of firewood sellers deliver short cords, 1 in 4. Those are casino odds, except you're always the house losing. Now here's something that'll make your blood pressure spike. A standard pickup truck bed holds roughly 1/3 of a cord when wood is tossed and loose, 1/3. So when Billy Bob advertises full cord per truckload, he's either driving a semi or lying through his teeth. Spoiler alert, he's not driving a semi. The fix is annoyingly simple. Stack the wood yourself before the delivery driver leaves. Right there, in front of him, measure it. 4 by 4 by 8. If it comes up short, you've got leverage while his truck is still in your driveway. Try disputing 2 weeks later. Good luck with that. Some states actually require firewood sales to include written receipts specifying volume. Know your local law. It's ammunition. My neighbor learned this the hard way. Paid $300 for what the seller called a cord. Stacked it himself that afternoon. 87 cubic feet. He basically paid full price for 2/3 of the product. Expensive lesson. But measurement scams aren't the only danger lurking in that woodpile. Some deliveries bring uninvited guests that can destroy far more than your wallet. Let me tell you about the guests you didn't invite. That innocent-looking pile of firewood, it's basically a bug hotel. And some of those bugs have destroyed entire forests. Emerald ash borers have killed over 100 million ash trees in North America. 100 million. These tiny green beetles spread primarily through one method: people moving firewood. You buy logs from a seller 3 states away, and suddenly you've imported an ecological disaster to your backyard. Congratulations on your new invasive species. This isn't paranoia. The Don't Move Firewood campaign exists for exactly this reason. One infected log can devastate forests hundreds of miles from where the infestation started. That's why many states have strict laws about transporting wood across county lines. Break them, and the fines hurt worse than a cold house. But insects aren't just a forest problem. They're a your house problem. Stack firewood directly against your home, and you've built a superhighway for termites. Carpenter ants too. Wood-boring beetles. All of them looking for a warm place to settle down and raise destructive little families. 20 feet minimum between your woodpile and your walls. No exceptions. And here's where people really mess up. They bring wood inside to warm up by the fire. Cozy image, right? Terrible idea. Warmth triggers dormant insects to wake up. Now instead of bugs in your woodpile, you've got bugs exploring your living room, your kitchen, your bedroom. Keep indoor storage to what you'll burn within a day or two. Then there's mold. White fuzzy stuff on bark? Usually harmless. Burns right off. But black mold penetrating deep into the wood? That releases spores when it burns. Spores you breathe. Not ideal. Stack your wood off the ground. Keep airflow underneath. Let it dry properly. These simple steps keep pests contained where they belong. But avoiding bad wood is only half the battle. What if you could get great wood for free? Free firewood exists everywhere. You just need to know where to look. Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. Every single week, homeowners post free wood, U-Haul. They don't want money. They want that fallen oak out of their yard before their wife loses her mind. I've scored enough wood for 2 winters just by checking listings every morning with my coffee. Municipal yard waste sites are gold mines nobody visits. After big storms, towns get buried in downed trees. Healthy trees. Good hardwood. Most places let residents take whatever they can carry. Free oak, free maple, yours for the loading. Here's one that works surprisingly well. Utility crews trimming near power lines. They're cutting good wood all day long. Just ask. Seriously. Most crews are happy to dump a pile at your curb instead of hauling it back to their yard. One conversation. Winter supply handled. Now, demolition sites get tricky. Sometimes they're tossing untreated lumber that burns perfectly clean. But here's the rule. If it's painted, stained, or pressure treated, walk away. That stuff releases toxic fumes when burned. Not worth saving a few bucks to poison your family. Pallet companies throw away broken pallets constantly. Free fuel, right? Almost. Check for the HT stamp first. That means heat treated. Safe to burn. No stamp or weird chemical smell? Skip it. Some pallets get treated with methyl bromide. You don't want that in your lungs. My personal favorite source? Orchards. Apple and cherry trees get pruned or removed every year. Orchard owners usually want them gone yesterday. You show up with a truck and a willingness to work, they'll practically hug you. Fruit wood smells incredible burning. Your whole house ends up smelling like a bakery. Free wood takes effort, but it's real money staying in your pocket. Of course, finding wood is one thing. Knowing which species burn best. That's where most people leave serious heat on the table. Black locust, ever heard of it? Most people haven't. That's a shame because this stuff burns hotter than oak with less smoke. And here's the kicker. Fence posts made from black locust last 50 years in the ground. The wood resists rot like nothing else. Yet firewood sellers practically give it away because customers don't ask for it. Then there's Osage orange. Settlers called it prairie coal because it produces more BTUs per cord than any other North American wood. More than oak, more than hickory, more than everything. One problem though. It sparks like crazy. Keep that fireplace screen closed or you'll be stomping out embers on your carpet. Mulberry grows everywhere as an invasive species. Cities cut it down constantly. Homeowners curse its existence. But burning it? Excellent. Clean, hot, easy to split. You're basically getting premium firewood that everyone else treats like garbage. Their loss, your warm house. Now ash deserves way more respect than it gets. Splits like butter. Seasons faster than oak. Burns clean without much fuss. It's often underpriced because sellers don't realize what they have. I once bought 3 cords of ash for what 1 cord of oak would cost. Best deal I ever made. Beech is the overnight champion. It creates coals that last for hours. Load your stove before bed. Wake up to a warm house. No 3 a.m. trips to throw another log on. Your back will thank you. And hedge apple, that dense little monster, burns for 4 hours per log. 4 hours, 1 log. It's almost unfair. The wood is so hard it'll dull your chainsaw, but the payoff is worth every blade you sacrifice. Point is, the popular woods aren't always the best woods. But even the perfect species becomes worthless if you're buying from the wrong seller. Some red flags should send you running before any money changes hands. Red flags. Every shady seller waves them. Most buyers just don't know how to spot them. First test is simple. Ask to visit their woodlot. Legitimate sellers say yes immediately. They're proud of their operation. But if someone gets cagey or makes excuses, run. They're hiding something. Probably a pile of garbage wood they don't want you seeing before money changes hands. Now look at the ends of those logs. See cracks radiating from the center like a starburst? That's good. That's wood that's been drying properly. Smooth ends with no checking whatsoever? That tree was standing last week. You're buying expensive water. Here's a trick my grandfather taught me. Grab 2 pieces and knock them together. Seasoned wood rings like a baseball bat hitting a fastball. Green wood, dull thud. Dead sound, like knocking 2 wet sponges together. Once you hear the difference, you'll never forget it. And please, never ask when the wood was cut. Every seller on earth will tell you last spring or over a year ago. They lie, all of them. Even the honest ones fudge the dates. Check those end grains yourself. Grayish color plus visible cracks equals properly dried. Anything else equals problems. Reputable sellers know their species too. They can tell you exactly what's in your cord. Oak, ash, cherry, whatever. If someone shrugs and says just hardwood, that's suspicious. Would you buy a used car from someone who didn't know what engine was under the hood? And watch the delivery. Wood dumped in a messy pile instead of neatly stacked? Classic move. Rotten pieces get buried at the bottom. Undersized chunks hide in the middle. By the time you discover the garbage, that truck is 3 counties away. The best sellers welcome questions. They encourage inspection. They have nothing to hide. But even perfect wood from an honest seller becomes worthless if you store it wrong. And most people mess this up badly. Storage sounds boring, I get it. But here's the thing. You can buy perfect wood from an honest seller and still ruin it in your own backyard. I've watched it happen to neighbors who should know better. The biggest mistake? Tarping everything like you're protecting a crime scene. People wrap their woodpiles tighter than a Christmas present, thinking they're keeping moisture out. Nope, they're trapping it in. That tarp creates a sauna effect. Humidity builds up underneath. Mold throws a party. Your seasoned wood becomes wet wood again. Congratulations, you just reversed 6 months of drying. Cover the top only, leave the sides completely open. Wind is your friend here. It pulls moisture out like nature's dehumidifier. But honestly, you might not need a tarp at all. Stack your top row bark side up. The natural curve sheds rain like a shingle roof. Trees figured this out millions of years before plastic existed. Now here's where most people really blow it. Ground contact. Wood sitting directly on dirt or grass wicks moisture upward constantly. It's like leaving a sponge in a puddle. That bone-dry oak you bought? Give it a month touching soil and the bottom layer is garbage. Pallets work great. Old 2x4s work. Even a row of cinder blocks. Just get that wood off the ground. Location matters too. A south-facing stack dries about 30% faster than one hiding in the shade on the north side of your garage. The sun does free work for you. Why not let it? And please rotate your stock. Burn the oldest wood first. I know it seems obvious, but I've seen people grab from the top of freshly stacked wood while perfectly seasoned logs from last year rot underneath. That's like buying groceries and letting them spoil while eating crackers. Speaking of buying, most people have no idea how much wood they actually need. And guessing wrong costs serious money either way. Let's talk numbers, because most people either buy way too much or run out halfway through January. Both mistakes hurt. If you're heating your entire house with wood, plan on 3 to 5 cords per winter. That's a real number based on actual usage data, not a guess, not what your uncle thinks. But here's the thing. You're probably not heating exclusively with wood. Most people run their fireplace a couple evenings a week for the cozy factor. For that, half a cord covers your whole season, maybe less. Here's where it gets interesting. 1 cord of good hardwood equals roughly 150 gallons of heating oil, or about 200 therms of natural gas. That math matters when you're comparing costs. Suddenly firewood doesn't look so expensive, does it? And here's something nobody tells you. Buying extra isn't a mistake. Properly stored hardwood gets better with age, like fine wine, except it keeps you warm instead of giving you a headache. Wood that's been seasoning for 2 years burns cleaner and hotter than last season's stuff. Now, geography matters. Live in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Vermont? Add another cord to whatever you calculated. Those Zone 5 winters don't mess around. My first winter up north, I underestimated by 2 cords. Never made that mistake again. By February, I was burning furniture. Just kidding. But barely. The smartest thing you can do. Track your first year. Count how many logs you burned weekly. Write it down like a nerdy accountant. Boring? Sure. But next year, you'll know exactly what you need. No guessing. No panic buying in December at triple the price. Firewood isn't complicated once you know the tricks. Buy dry. Buy early. Stack smart. And don't let anyone sell you a face cord while calling it the real thing. Now get out there and find some good wood. Your future self will thank you when January hits.